So this is honestly, even though, man, this kind of stuff is hard because it's one of those things where there's a bit of a disconnect between what I know cognitively and the general sort of state that I like to live in where I feel like things are mostly okay, you know? Cognitively, I know how possible it is with the tools that exist today to become a different person online or even fabricate a person online and use that identity to fool or in many cases defraud others. Right? I know that we cover that stuff all the time, whether it's, deep fake technology or using LLMs to generate sad stories on Facebook that send people to GoFundMes or, whatever it is, right? You can fabricate entire people out of the ether. I know that. But still, this read on IGN, which is probably the best piece of journalism I've seen from IGN in years.
Maybe years.
I was being nice. Let's go with in years.
Sure.
Was chilling to read. I would strongly encourage you guys. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the Floatplane chat, and I'm going to ask Dan real quick to maybe repeat that link and huck it into the YouTube and Twitch chats. I would strongly encourage you guys to go read the whole article because we can't get into every little detail, but what I will give you guys is a summary, and basically what it comes down to is that Susan Banks, who was a prominent video game accessibility advocate and co-founder of the website Can I Play That, was thought to have died in 2019. But the report from IGN raises serious doubts as to whether she ever existed at all. She was supposedly a deaf Turkish immigrant who had worked as a model and financial asset manager before becoming a professor at a notable deaf university. But when IGN asked for comment, the university denied she had ever worked there. Between 2015 and her apparent death in 2019, she blogged extensively and often interacted with other advocates and news organizations. However, these interactions were exclusively through social media or emails, which most people attributed to her being deaf, which I can tell you from my own experience with the deaf community is a totally, completely normal thing. For them to prefer text communication. It's like my own mom is hard of hearing, and she taught at a school for the deaf for many years. That's the reason that I have picked up on some American Sign Language. And so, I'm already familiar with the kinds of accessibility equipment that existed before the internet was necessarily widespread. So like we had a TTY in our house, which is essentially a keyboard phone. And so you use it through like a relay operator to conduct phone calls, or at least you did back before, every brand had a live chat or whatever else. But you'll still find like TTY access numbers on things like government websites and things like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that it really would not have raised any kind of weird alarm bells if someone who is deaf or hard of hearing preferred to communicate via text and also preferred not to turn their camera on. So, moving on. If Banks is in fact a fake person, the most likely suspect seems to be her supposed romantic partner, Cody Craven, who facilitated many of her communications. According to an associate of Craven, Craven claimed that Banks was hospitalized after dropping a KitchenAid mixer on her foot, which resulted in the amputation first of one leg, then of the other leg 2 days later. When this associate contacted the hospital where Banks was recovering in order to send flowers, the hospital denied they had any patient by that name.
One thing that's interesting is, like, someone at Floatplane chat posted up like privacy policies and stuff like that. I'm kind of surprised you can just like call a hospital and figure out if someone's there or not.
No, you can.
Without having relations with that person or anything.
No, you can definitely do it. I had to do it a little while ago. You can definitely do it.
Intriguing.
Okay. Yeah. I think they kind of expect you to demonstrate a little bit that you like
know what you're talking about.
But yeah. No, it's definitely a thing.
Social engineering. Someone said in the Floatplane chat. Yeah, true. Yeah.
So the associate then hired a private investigator who found no evidence or any legal record of Banks whatsoever. Craven, meanwhile, so this was the supposed romantic partner, was apparently showered in gifts and sympathy whenever he posted about his partner's illness and recovery. Since announcing Banks' death by stroke in 2019, Coty Craven has dated 2 other surprisingly similar deaf women whose existence has also come into question. After being reached for comment by IGN, Craven strongly requested that the piece not be published, then began deleting all of his social media accounts.
Not a good sign.
My notes continue. These kinds of bizarre schemes aren't new, but they're becoming easier to pull off with modern tools. In addition to entirely AI-generated influencers, there are apparently already several fake influencers created by stealing real influencers' photos and adding deep-faked AI faces to them. However, other influencers have made tons of money off people using their own faces, but otherwise fabricating facts about their life and circumstances. That's not really a however. That's in addition to.
Yeah. We know about the fake planes and stuff like that. What was the grift, though? Did they make money off this?
So the grift was, no, I believe there was at least, you got to read the whole IGN article to find all the details. But yeah, between things like requests for donations to help out and being an apparently sort of able-bodied person who could create this persona of someone who would have much more credibility discussing accessibility in gaming. You can create this, you can create Can I Play That? You can create blogs. You can get gig work as an advocate. You can create this career that ironically wouldn't be open to you as a completely able-bodied person, but would be open to you as someone who could speak authoritatively on the challenges that you face. And I mean, I think that's the thing that makes me most sick about all of this is like, really? There's not enough things that you could do that, like, you have to, from the people who have legitimate grievances with the way that the gaming industry has treated accessibility, who have legitimate voices that need to be heard in this space, you take advantage of their plight and you profit from it and you turn it into like a hustle that then substitutes their voice for your own. Like I can't even begin to wrap my head, allegedly, around how sick this guy would have to be to think that that is even remotely okay.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly. None of this proven in court, but read the IGN piece. It is actually worth the click. Go check it out. It is gross.